Has the negativity surrounding Charlie Kirk's death been affecting your ability to achieve your goals? Sani, how do you do? I'm a couturier, image consultant, stylist, Miss Universe finalist, though many of you know me for helping ladies marry multi-millionaires, marry providers, and have successful and happy marriages. And know me as your Auntie Maria, and I have a happy marriage of over a decade. Most of my ladies were deeply affected by Charlie Kirk's death. Not necessarily fans of him, some are the opposite. But the negativity of so many people hating on the death of an individual, attacking his family who saw their father shot in front of small children and his wife. This distressed so many people who did not even agree with what he said, but it's just this vicious lack of empathy for politics. To be honest, I didn't really know who Charlie Kirk even was until his funeral. Although a lady reminded me that I might have seen some of his videos before, that gentlemen should provide, and I agreed, but I don't remember him. However, during the funeral, there were so many rude people attacking his family and so on, his children, and because they had different political views. And yeah, it's distressing, right? Even though you might not agree with him, right? To see children being attacked because people don't share their father's politics and people attacking back, it just created so much negative energy, right? And the negativity, the lack of empathy, someone, I posted, oh my goodness, this father has been shot in front of a crowd and his children died. If any of you know him, like, my apologies, right? And people said he said inappropriate things. All right, whatever he said, may Allah have mercy upon his soul. Whatever he said. And then people who I thought were educated, that I thought knew better, then said, what about this death? What about that death? And I thought, what about your manners? You're supposed to be educated. Where did your manners go? You know what? I might have voted Liberal in the past election. I'm not voting for them anymore. Thanks to you, right? Because, this lack of empathy, like, whataboutism, what about this, what about that? My friend Danielle called it scorekeeping empathy, which is false empathy or performative empathy. And when your friend does this, so let's say you're grieving or you see some situation internationally, don't know much about, say, okay, all right, those people who experience this, my condolences, and someone says, what about you? What about you? It's so ugly. It's called scorekeeping empathy, right? It's as if people were jealous of the attention children got at the funeral of their father. It's disgusting. I was so disturbed that people I knew who I thought were good people were doing this, and it was so disgusting. Other people were so disturbed at things Charlie Kirk said, most of which have been taken out of context. However, his Islamophobic things were not taken out of context. Yet he spoke to Muslims, then changed his mind, and then faced a lot of pressure from the Israel lobby, according to Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and Candace Owens, and many others. Chrissy had an excellent video, and she said, women of color should stay out of this whole thing and not lose their jobs because they were upset by what the media said. And remember, the media hates you and is out there to create level down propaganda, to prevent women of color, working class women, and white women who are from rural areas, lower middle class, etc. So if you are not white elite establishment, all the media is there to gatekeep you, okay? And if you follow me on my social media, you will even see those white gatekeepers, right? Like Canadian BoobJob Karen. So before we go into Chrissy's video, we will go into Canadian BoobJob Karen. One of the most important lessons you should get out of my content, if at all, is gatekeeping, especially in Western countries, especially by white women who have made it. They will always try to cover up how they have made it and pretend they're a hard-working feminist. You will see this over and over and over, my social media, and I catch them, I point them out. And this Canadian BoobJob Karen is someone I knew in person, a former friend who was introduced to me by a friend. And she said, you know, I should introduce Karen to Maria because Maria's a relationship coach and she could help Karen. Sadly, I did. And now I charge for my services. So Karen came to us starving, showing bones here, and with a boob job. She was such a pitiful figure. I asked her what was going on, and she said she returned to her abusive husband in her 50s because she's struggling at earning a living. So I asked her, what did you study in university? What's your profession? Oh, like me? Like, I was a model and like an actress. That's why I studied in university. Like, oh my god. Oh goodness. So, where do you work? Do you work as a secretary for the government? Or so why are you staying with an abusive gentleman that you say hits you and yells at you? You know, maybe we could take you to a women's shelter. I like work like, oh my gosh, like fixing like store, like windows. And like I'm an actress in my 50s, y'all, and like yeah, you know, I like got a job like a few weeks ago, but it doesn't like pay much rent, and I wonder why I don't get so many roles in Ottawa as a lead actress in my 50s. Maybe I should go to Hollywood. Like, I'm cute, what do you think, y'all? I said, Karen, in Hollywood there are almost no roles for ladies in their 50s, and all the celebrities like Salma Hayek, Kate Winslet, who used to be big, you know, celebrities in their youth, they're all vying for those roles, alright? I don't recommend that you go to Hollywood. And I'm amazed you found work in Ottawa. So, Karen, what do you think about second career retraining into being a secretary or bureaucrat for the government of Canada? Because in the city of Ottawa, to be honest, there are not so many actress jobs. If you were younger, you could move to Toronto, and there are quite a few B-list roles there. But if you're not offered them now, this is not the age, right? If you're not offered them now, I would not recommend depending on this for a living. And how many storefront windows in Ottawa need fixing? This is a bureaucrat snowdom, not exactly a fashion capital. Though, of course, we have a few stores and a fashion academy. Ottawa is known for bureaucracy and boredom. It's not known for fabulous store windows. I'm surprised you got work and got paid. Congratulations. And our mutual friend said that, well, her friends and clients also, she found work for BoobJob Karen, right, to help their windows. So she was doing better than usual. Thanks to my friend and later me. So when I asked Karen had she applied for a second career so she can restudy her absolutely, utterly useless degree into something useful so that she can get employed in Ottawa, like being a bureaucrat, she lied to me. I applied. I applied. And they didn't accept me. Oh my goodness. I don't know how to apply. And my husband hates me. For me, it was shocking. Also for my friend, we're both immigrants. So our parents said that we should rely on ourselves. If anything happens, right, we should stand on our own feet. If we get help, that's great. But first of all, we should rely on ourselves so that if there's a bad situation, we can walk out, all right? And of course, we have normal university degrees. Yeah, I have several. One of them is, economics, policy management, intelligence analysis, also media relations. After I became a housewife, I also studied fashion, image consulting, etc., etc. So, but the fun stuff, I could do when I was a housewife. But before I was a housewife, I had practical degrees, so I could work at a bank, right? And I worked for the parliament, I could work as a bureaucrat, I could work in finance, so many things, right? So my parents made sure I was able to provide for myself and not depend on gentlemen because I had a stupid degree out of following my passion. Unlike this, BoobJob Karen, I was so shocked, I felt so sorry for her. It was a mistake. And so I thought, all right, in your 50s, if they're not accepting you, because she lied to me that she was too old, now I know it's a lie, but at the time she was like, oh, I'm too old, they cannot accept me, it's so horrible. And then I thought, again, I exaggerate her accent, but so I thought, all right, what should I do? And she was trying to sell me her purses. It was so pathetic, and she was dry begging, and if you had seen her, she was such a pitiful sight just looking at her, But at least she was okay for being in her 50s, so I said, all right, one thing you can do if you change how you dress, okay? If you follow me, perhaps on the bay, right? You may be able to find another husband who doesn't have a boyfriend or something who can rescue you. This is the last resort, but I'll try to help you. I'll see what I can do. I felt bad. So when I did a photo shoot, I connected her to a friend of mine, and after her, he's no longer a friend. And I connected her to a friend of mine, and he was going to the Bond Versailles. He made dresses, and he flew her over, right? And she liked her husband that he's gay, but this way she got there. And she was trying to sell me even her blankets. I really felt for this girl, all right? And I told her, how to dress and everything. All right, I just give her references, so she was following my social media, because, how you dress to find a husband. And she went to the south of France from this, and she went to where the yachts were, and in Saint-Tropez she found her husband, or Nanty, one of those, I'm not going to, or Cannes, one of these places, I'm not going to say exactly where, but one of these places, alright? She found her husband and got rescued, as in her new husband. So she flew back home and told her old husband that she has a new husband, and bye-bye, ciao. And he was so shocked, he got cancer. Well, she didn't tell me fully that the reason why the relationship was so bad was that. So Karen invited me and my friend for dinner, and she told me she listened to my strategy of making this gentleman wait and just took all my relationship advice, clothing advice, the entire thing, and now she's able to leave her abusive marriage. So what I didn't realize was why her marriage was abusive, and it's one of the rare occasions where she deserves it, is that her husband was a businessman, a capitalist, and she's very progressive, and he's was more on the conservative side because how do you make money? So she hated him for being a capitalist, for earning money, and she's super progressive, artsy, hippie type, okay? Very bohemian. But then she depends on rich capitalist, Republicans for money, and then she hates them for being the rich capitalist right-wing gentleman that is required to make that money. So basically she's married to someone like Charlie Kirk, except this more kind of red pill, okay, not like Charlie Kirk. And then, as a result of her constant disrespect, even though he loved her so much, he would just have fights with her, or you say, you know what, you don't respect my money, therefore I won't give you any, go and find work yourself, right? And of course she didn't want to find work, that was not her hobby. She taught me to be less naive about ladies. Many ladies who ask for help are just finessing you, and if ladies are not helping themselves, then you shouldn't be helping them. So she got married, did not invite me to the wedding, and then she flew in for my friend's party, and then after this, she talked to me and talked to my other friend, invited us for coffee, and then started talking behind our mutual friend's back. Now that she's in a good situation, she can diss my mutual friend. Like, that's not acceptable. I said, if you have a problem, talk to her face. Why are you talking to me? I hate passive aggressive white Karen stuff. I do not stand for it, right? And again, white Karen, this is, Anglo-Saxon culture. So, and not so much in England. In England, it's milder because it's already in Europe, but North America, it's awful. And so she was so passive-aggressive, and I said, listen, talking behind our friend's back. And I said, why did you pretend to be her best friend at the party and flew in all the way here on a bloody plane from France, from your yacht in the French Riviera, and you flew here to our friend's party? Why? Just to diss on her, behind her back? I won't stand for it. We can be friends, but let's change the topic. So, how were you enjoying France, etc.? So, anyway, so she got engaged, right? She got married. She didn't invite either, my friend who made her marriage possible, to her wedding. Right. And then, when she got married, when she finally secured the ring, she was nasty to me, not just my friend. And she started making passive-aggressive remarks on my Facebook page, right? And my promotional pages where I promote my image consulting, saying, ladies, don't listen to Maria about how to dress to impress a rich gentleman. Oh, she did. Be a rich gentleman yourself. I'm like, Karen, the only reason why you're not starving is I helped you find a rich husband, okay? From the goodness of my heart. right? She was also lying to ladies, oh, by gatekeeping. Oh, you shouldn't care what gentlemen think. And I said, Karen, if you don't care what gentlemen think, why did you carve yourself like a Halloween pumpkin? Right? You have one of the worst boob jobs I've seen, right? Luckily she improved it in France, but like before she had her second husband, honestly, like, who would, carve themselves up like a Thanksgiving turkey unless they wanted so desperately to be picked by gentlemen? You don't go and have a boob job and then tell ladies, oh, you should not, wear clothes in the colors that attract gentlemen. Like, come on, Karen. So Karen was starving, poor, begging ladies to buy her blanket, even her handbags, etc. And when, first when she got engaged and married, she said, I'm a career woman. Her husband started financing her movies, and acting them. I'm an actress and model. I have a real career. Right? I mean, honestly. So her husband was financing her movies and photo shoots. Oh, look at me. I filmed in this country and I filmed in that country and I have an IMDb profile. And her husband financed these movies. So then Karen would lie and tell people that they should be a strong, independent career woman and follow their dreams because look, now she's a successful actress without, of course, telling the full story. She's a successful actress because her husband finances the movies that she's in. So when Canadian BoobJob Karen started trolling my ladies on my image consulting page, saying, oh, you shouldn't care what gentlemen think of how you look, right? I said, coming from the lady with a humongous boob job, carved her body like a Halloween pumpkin, that's rich. And also, oh, now you fixed it because you have a second husband, now it looks normal, huh? Because you don't want to be mistaken for a blonde Lauren Sanchez, huh? Mais non. And she was trolling my ladies, oh, you shouldn't care to find a rich gentleman. You should be one. And that's when I said, Karen, you who are desperate and poor and broke, trying to sell me your purses and dry begging me for money. And then I found you your sugar daddy husband who rescued you from poverty. And this is how you thank me. So then, I just deleted her comments and I was like, you know what? I will be petty. And this is something you learn in Western culture, okay? So in Anglophone societies, especially, it's better in England because it's closer to Europe, but North America, where there's so much passive-aggressive culture and fakeness and all of this in the educated upper middle class. So petty gets you places. So I really did her comments at first, and I just waited and waited until it was night in the south of France, and she was sleeping, but it was still when I was up. And then I wrote deliciously on her Facebook page, where she posted a lovely photo of her and her beautiful husband. So I posted there everything she said, she did, how she came begging to me about her ex-husband, the whole thing. and what she sent behind my friend's back. And it's like, oh, now you don't need us. Now you're ungrateful, and you're mean, and you're rude, and you're condescending and arrogant. I won't stand for this. Let all our mutual friends know exactly who you are. And of course, I told my friend and tagged her. This is just not acceptable. This is not right. And, right, I woke up the next day, blocked from all her platforms. She had certainly read it. And I told her that as a ladies level up coach, one thing I don't stand for is gatekeeping. You know this, right? If you don't like to hear what I have to say, unfollow me, right? So, but I see some of this gatekeeping from time to time, and I'm petty. I'm petty back. I demand respect. That as a coach, I teach ladies to level up. And if you want to sabotage my ladies, I'll be petty and extract a very petty revenge. I'm still chuckling over the fact that when I put it, because it was overnight, but in North America, everyone saw it. So everyone had read it, screenshot it, sent it. So by the time she woke up, everyone knew exactly who Canadian BoobJob Karen, that arrogant prick, was. My point is that successful ladies in North America, especially white ones, do gatekeep and will lie. Oh, I didn't get ahead by marrying or sleeping my way up, but statistically we know how they got there. And there was this thing that Dr. Robert Henderson called luxury beliefs, and there are two types. He first of all means northern educated, in North America, educated people. What they do is they lie that they live in the swinging 70s, but practically live in the 1950s, all right? Brokies are obsessed with political teams or sports teams. And elite know that this is to distract people. This is bread and circuses, to distract you from your goals. So the job of politics is to prevent you from leveling up. That's politics. It's about getting, keeping, and protecting power for the elite, even gatekeeping. And I'll teach you how to play the game.